Yeah, and
Oh
then
boy.
our final topic, right? Carson Wentz's injury,
Yeah, here we
also
go. Here's another.
compounded on Quenton Nelson's injury, but this literally the same, I don't know, the same exact injury, but the same exact timetable.
Yeah, very similar injuries, which is just kind of scary because you're like, all right, really? Like I saw one of our guys that we love, Brett Coleman, made a tweet that was like, what kind of god, like what god or demon did he piss off down in Indy? But yeah, Carson Wentz has his injury, which by the way, apparently is an injury that doctors are saying that he might have had since freaking high school. And I'm like, okay, how did the college, maybe I get it. You don't have the best coaching staff down at North Dakota State. It's, I get that. It's fine. It's not Alabama. You maybe don't have the same, type of training
Sure.
group. But then you go to the NFL where you are playing for a team that's supposed to have a good training staff. And how do they, for 6 years, miss this? And then suddenly it goes to Indy in the first, second he's in Indy, it finally is like, okay, we've had enough, Carson. We're done. We're done supporting your foot, and it breaks.
He just stepped off the bus and just crumpled into a pile at that point.
I mean, this was the fear with Carson Wentz. It's hilarious because my dad is a huge Indianapolis Colts fan, and
Oh,
so
why? They're one of the worst. I hate the Colts. I've
he's
always hated the
he's
Colts.
he's grown up watching the Colts, so that's why. It's the same reason why I'm a Yankees fan, because I've grown up watching the Yankees. He's the same way with the Colts. He grew up watching them because his family loved him, and so he's always been a Colts fan since he was little. And so it's funny because I walk in the room and I go, "So, Dad, I hear that Nick Foles and Gardner Minshew might be your saviors," and he just was like, "Don't talk to me." He's like, I don't want to do it." He's like, "That is the worst statement I could have heard." After he's like, "That was the worst statement I heard since the we signed Carson Wentz statement, or we traded for Carson Wentz." And I was like, "Fair enough."
Man, remember when we thought the Bears were going to do that?
Oh my god,
That was like the best
yeah.
option.
But I will say, if you go look at our podcast on Wednesday, we did this podcast on Wednesday, and our podcast, I literally said, I think I started the segment out with, "So Carson Wentz is going to be traded to the Colts," and then literally the next day it was like, "Carson Wentz traded to the Colts," and I was like, "Yeah, thank you, knew that was coming."
Yeah, I know.
There was a moment where it was like, "Oh man, are the Bears gonna be stupid enough to do this?" Thank God we weren't. Thank God we weren't.
I will absolutely love if for some reason, and apparently it's not going to happen, but if Foles would have gotten traded there, that would have been great. The odds of that are so low, but it would have been awesome to see.
I don't know. I feel like Nick Foles getting traded to the Colts actually would make some kind of sense, because especially because the coach for the Colts used to coach in the Philly system where Nick Foles was, and
Yeah,
it's the same concept with it's the same concept as why we ended up with Nick Foles, where it's like, oh, let me get a quarterback that's familiar with my system.
except I think it would mentally break Wentz because this son of a gun has followed him
I,
everywhere
I
throughout
would
his
die. I
career.
would absolutely die if he ended up getting traded to the Colts.
I mean, it's a non-zero. It's absolutely a talk in the front
Yeah, it's
office that
it's
like you
not
have to
even like
imagine that's a
a
real thing they're discussing as an issue. We could trade for him and everything, but we might bankrupt our second and third round pick that we traded away for this guy because he might just be, you know,
yeah.
crushed.
You might literally cause him and his brain to explode.
Yeah, like literally.
So I don't know. It's a tough situation to be in, especially because they're a team that, like, literally, if you took, like, if I were the Colts, like, it's one of those where you're just like, they need a star quarterback. Like, they literally just need a quarterback. That's it. Their team is so
The
well
same as the
built.
Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as the Broncos. I'll tell you what, when Aaron Rodgers becomes a free agent next year, if the Colts and the Broncos aren't the two top teams trying to sign him, if I were the Colts, I would offer, literally, I'd be like, "Listen, Aaron, we'll give you like 100 million a year and you could just come here and play.
Right.
Just do your thing." Like, I
Yeah.
would literally be like, "Dude, we'll buy you a house here. I don't care how big it is, we'll build it." Was like I would just offer him literally everything. I'd be like, "Come to Indianapolis." Because if he went to Indianapolis next year, they're favorites to win the Super Bowl. I'm not even kidding, because
Would you
that's how
rather
good
him
the
go to the
Indianapolis
would
team
he
is.
rather go to the Colts or the Broncos? I think the Broncos have a better defense for sure.
Um,
The Colts probably have a better O line.
Yeah, if I were him, I'd go to the Colts because the Colts have a better offensive line.
But
And
the Broncos have so
like,
many good receivers.
yeah, but here's the thing: is if the Colts are going like, for example, the Bears, who are stupid enough to let Allen Robinson go. If I were the Colts and I had like 70 million in cap space, I'd be like, hey, listen, Aaron, we're gonna sign you. Oh, and you want Allen Robinson? Okay, done deal. Or oh, you want another wide receiver that's one of the best in the league that's disgruntled because the same team also hates him apparently is Devontae Adams. Yeah, we'll sign Devontae Adams with him. Like, can you imagine him and Devontae Adams going to the Colts and that like how that team would look?
No, insane.
Yeah, it'd be stupid. They'd be unbelievably talented.
Yeah.
Like, if I were the Colts, I would I would give the keys to the city to Aaron. I'd be calling Devontae Adams in the middle of the night and being like, Devontae,
Yeah.
come to the Indy. Convince Aaron to come to Indy with you.
Yeah.
Like, it's a legitimate thing where both of those players could be available next year and want to play together. And you're a team that has a ridiculous amount of cap space and an unbelievable team ready in place. And you
Yeah.
could be like, come here.
Yeah.
If I was Aaron, I would 100%. I'd be like, I would call Devontae and I'd be like, listen, Devontae, I want to go to Indianapolis and I want you there. And then I would call the Colts and be like, Devontae's coming. Give him a massive deal. And then if I were Indy, I'd be like, thank you, Aaron. Here's the keys to the city. We're going to build you a mansion wherever you want. And you get free food for the rest of your life at Indy.
Yeah. No, I'd like to see him in the Broncos, honestly, because I just don't like the Colts, but they'd be interesting to watch for sure.